Good evening and welcome to Prime of Midlife. On this evening that Boris Johnson has said he will step down as leader of the Conservative Party, being very careful not to mention the word resign, I wanted to talk about farming and money, or the Office for Budget Responsibility. So basically, because these are two things that have come up when I've been sitting on the computer, obviously still not 100%, still not back at work, so I've been obviously watching the news today, looking at a couple of reports and things, and these ones sort of stuck in my head. So there's a report saying that farmers are really struggling to get staff, and a lot of them have, when they've advertised jobs, the applicants they've either had very few or zero with the right experience and or qualifications. Okay, so the first thing that everyone's going to say is, well, that's because of Brexit, that is because there's no more free travel to the UK, it's more difficult for us to get workers here. The question is, why are our guys not working here? Why are our children not thinking that working on a farm is a decent job? Why is it that the wages are not that good for doing a hard job? Would that be because the multi-million-pound conglomerate supermarkets screw the prices down so much that we've all been brought up with really low food prices and really low wages? I think so. So what have we been doing? What are our kids doing? What is the way to look at things? I mean, it used to be that the army was a good career, a policeman, nursing. Very few people want to go into that just now because you're not getting paid and you're getting treated rubbish. But over the past, I would say, since I was a kid, probably since I was in my 20s, so about 30 odd years, in the last 30 years, the UK has completely turned itself into a service country. We are here to look after the tourists. We are here to take your phone calls in a call centre, especially in Scotland, where seemingly they like our accent. We do not know how to grow our own food. We do not know how to make anything. We buy it all from China. And now, when this globalisation is seemingly not working as well as it should, now we're struggling. And the farmers can't get anyone to work for them. And we're going, but why is the price of Lurpak going up to £9 a kilo? Well, could that be because, apart from the fact of the farmer is having to put up his prices because of the price of feed, the price of diesel, etc., he's struggling to get workers, so he's having to pay better wages. Then there's the transport to get it from the farm to the dairy, to the butter making thing, the dairy thing. Then there's the transport to get it into the supermarkets, and by God, the supermarkets have got to have their cut. Do not even get me started on that. So, yes. So our farmers are struggling to find staff, not just the farmers, let me tell you. Hospitality and retail are all like, oh, we can't get the staff, and no wonder. Have you seen the attitude of people nowadays? Self-entitled doesn't even come close. I would not want my daughter to be working in that. So, that's the farming thing. You know, we are really struggling to be able to farm in this country. So how are we going to be able to produce our own food? And I mean, when the FBI and MI5, or CIA and MI5, I don't know, the Americans and the Brits, security people tell you that China is a scary thing, whilst Putin's doing an invasion of Ukraine, this is not looking good. We need to be looking after ourselves. So, yes, there's one. That's my first point. My other point, see, I even wrote it down, because, you know, I can feel I've been standing up now. The Office for Budget Responsibility says public finances will come under more strain from an ageing population and loss of existing motoring taxes as diesel and petrol cars are phased out. Do not even start me on that rubbish. oh look, you want us all to get electric vehicles at 30 grand a time, but oh, we're not getting taxes. Let's up other taxes as we lose the car taxes. Not my problem. I think I've paid enough taxes. Maybe you should go after the multinational conglomerates and actually get them to start paying taxes, you know, unlike what Amazon and Costa Coffee have been doing for the past few years. And somewhere, I cannot verify this because I heard this a few years ago, somewhere I got told that the number of people chasing corporate tax is something like a 10th or 100th, 1% of the number of people trying to get benefit cheats. And the government are complaining that they're losing money. Go after the multimillionaires, not the poor people who are struggling to put food in their kids' mouths. Now, that is your tax on your vehicles and stuff. You know, if they want us to go all electric, then don't blame us if you've not got the tax, but don't be taking the tax off the normal people, because that's just no fair. And that irks us. The other thing, and you know if I start on this one, this is not going to be good. Public finances will come under more strain from the ageing population. Now, I don't know about you, but my parents, I am 50-something, mid-50s, my parents bought their house. They worked all their days, and when they were like 60-something, they had paid off their mortgage. We had a party and everything. My dad retired. He had put money into his pension funds. And then my dad got ill and had to go into a care home. That was fine. Mum still had the house. My whole life had been geared up to that house. That was our inheritance. Everything was geared to that. The house was what they spent money on, because then they could leave it to myself and my daughter. Then my mum got ill with dementia, and now she's in a care home. 12 weeks. 12 weeks ago. And then it was like, actually, you need to sell the house now. By this time, my dad's care home, who the council had stopped paying for as soon as mum went into care, this care home I'm now into for thousands, and they're saying, well, you need to sell the house. How many other people of my parents' generation is this going to happen to, so that people of my generation who were brought up thinking, yes, I'll inherit this, so I'm all right, I can rent a property just now, or I can buy a smaller property or whatever, or I can help my kids. How many others is that going to happen to? There's going to be nobody middle class anymore who is able to hold on to their house if they need care. And as for the wages that they're paying carers, and they're saying, oh, but the ageing population, they're not working, they're not putting it. They have worked enough. Thank you very much. My mother worked from when she was 15 until she was 60. I think that's quite enough, don't you? And at this rate, I've got to work until I'm 67. Are you having a laugh? I am absolutely fed up of government after government telling us that we need to pay more taxes because they can't balance the books. Maybe they should start looking at their Russian oligarch friends and their test and trace that went to so-and-so's bitten aside or whatever. I don't know. You know what I mean about test and trace. It has been going on so long. And we're the ones struggling. And now that Boris Johnson's gone, it'll be like, oh, well, we can't do this just now because we need to wait for the new Prime Minister. And the new Prime Minister could maybe change stuff. In other words, you're on your own. So if ever I went off in one and came back, that was probably it. So sorry about that. I'm obviously feeling a bit better and a bit more grumpy today. There's no help coming anytime soon. We have to look after ourselves. And if that means going and trying to grow things on your windowsill, try and grow things on your windowsill, even if it's just some herbs to give you a bit flavour for your rice and your beans, because Lord knows the way we're going, that's what we're all going to be eating. Now, as you can see, getting myself stressed. Oh, and do you like the new shawl? This is actually a proper 100% wool shawl, which is probably why I'm so warm when I'm going off in one. It's taken me quite a while to do, but it's done. Well, I've still got to finish off the little tidy bits. But yeah, look after yourself, because with Boris Johnson going, and this is what they're saying, the farmers can't get staff, so we're not going to be able to grow as much food as we thought we were. And the Office for Public Finances is saying that they'll feel the strain, which means there'll be less money for care, there'll be less money for kids, there'll be less money for hospitals. They're warning us of that now. Let's see what we can do to make sure that we get through this. I'm going now. I'll see you later.